Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Well, we got a great show for you today. We're here with one of my favorite collaborators, Bekah Carlson. We'll hear from Rebekah in a minute. Of course, I always want to thank our good friends at Warren Henry for being sponsors for well over a decade now. It's terrific to be a member of the Warren Henry family. It's great to be their brand ambassador. And I want to thank Larry, Eric, and the rest of the team, of course, Warren over there, for not only helping our family with our transportation, but lots of our friends, colleagues, and clients. So here we are. Let's get ready to go for the show. We've got Rebekah Carlson on. We're going to talk about building your personal brand and her particular hacks that she uses. We've worked together, and Rebekah's designed a lot of my email marketing campaigns, my show website, and a lot of pitch books for a lot of my friends. Where is the affable and bubbly Ms. Carlson?
Hey, hi,
There
Jim.
she is.
So good to see you.
Oh my gosh, you're always like you had 22 cups of coffee and 62 cookies from that lady. So welcome to the show, Rebekah. First of all, things have been evolving and going on. Tell us about the team. Your team keeps on growing. Tell us what's going on with your team.
Oh my goodness. Our team does keep on growing, and I'm very excited about where we're at. We were able to get our City of Chicago WBE designation earlier this year, and we're in process of getting our WeBank designation for national, which isn't.
What is all that?
So it's being a certified woman-owned business.
Oh.
And which would be meaningful in the sense that we could chase government contracts and those sorts of pieces. But the reality is that I just wanted to get the certification because it literally just defines what we are. We are a women-owned business. We're a team of all women, and having that designation and that credibility related to that is really what I'm going for. And I would say that the huge benefit of having done this process is that when I have clients, and I do have a number of clients who've gotten their minority-owned business designation or their women-owned business designation, I have a lot more respect and sympathy for the process because these are really onerous processes. So it's been really fun for me as we're growing again as a woman-owned business, which is kind of cool and still a little bit of an anomaly in my world, which is, as you know, very heavy in the commercial real estate world.
Oh, Jonathan says hi. Talked to him earlier today.
Yay.
And so does Zach from BizNow. Zach from BizNow says you rock.
Oh,
So you
I
must
love
be doing
Zach.
stuff with Zach. Yeah, Zach is tremendous. I really like Zach also. So, I've seen your flyer for your updated presentation. Let's kind of walk through all that a little bit because I think it's really good. Let's talk for a minute because it's always all about projecting somebody's personal brand. My personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I added on to that and say I do that by solving their problems and bringing them peace of mind. And I have my little tagline, which is whenever you call me, it's always all about you. But, that's me. I'm a big fish in a big pond looking to stand out. But let's go back to the basics first. Who should have a messaging strategy? And I would assume that, messaging, branding, all kind of ties together a little bit.
It does all tie together. And as I think about where those delineations lie, the reality is that everyone has a personal brand. You don't have to acknowledge it, but you have one. Assuredly, most assuredly you do. And then most of us also represent some sort of business brand. Both of those deserve attention and intentionality towards having a messaging strategy, because any presence that you have that isn't linked to the ability to attract and retain business, the ability to be a thought leader in your world, is a lost opportunity. So let's not have lost opportunities. Let's take advantage of all of the tools at our disposal, and starting with the idea, recognizing that within a brand, there are lots of little kind of circles around a brand itself that you want to have some cohesiveness around. So whether that's your e-blast, your social media, and you are a master of this, Jim. So I think we can hold you up actually as kind of the pinnacle of doing this well, which is what we all want to emulate.
It's so hard. I don't want to say I've been slacking off, but it's really difficult to do all of this over and over again and then seem fresh. I've done, like, when COVID started, I really started doing daily posts, and I feel guilty because I don't do them every day anymore, but it's only so much capacity I have because I want to be authentic and transparent, which I guess that's kind of a blop over back to you.
Well, and that's also part of your brand. You have always strived for that authenticity. And you've been so transparent with how you have navigated a lot of the processes of coming off of a well-positioned radio show with a radio station acquisition and transitioning to podcast. And every step of that, we've been able to watch as an audience. And it's been really, really neat and really refreshing because we get the behind the scenes as well as all of the pieces of what you're doing.
I'm trying to figure out where you can see my thumb.
I can see your thumb. So along with, right, you've got your social media, you've got your website, you've got your content, whether in some people that's PR, articles, thought leadership, messaging, your outreach, whether that's e-blasts or your scripts for your calls, all of that works together for sales and marketing integration. And the whole goal is for it to be cohesive, which always starts with a strategy because it doesn't all magically come together, unfortunately, because they're kind of disparate tasks. And so you do one thing while you're thinking about that one thing and then discover that it doesn't 100% align with all of the other materials or things that you're producing.
Well, when I talk to different people that I have on the show, like last week we had Tom Handler, I always talk to them and I talk to their marketing person about what is your theme for the week. And some of like the president, he has a theme for the day, a message for the day. Every day has a different message. So a lot of times it's what's viscerally inside of me and how I'm dealing with the trials and tribulations of the particular day. Sometimes I'll be reading a periodical and I get interested in the information. And unfortunately, a lot of times what gets to me is hidden behind a paywall. So people can only see the article headline, the little photo or diagram that goes with it. But hopefully that's enough for them to get the idea and then to drill down a little bit, because it's not a perfect world. And I got to tell you, as long as you give up trying to be perfect, you're in a lot better place. Remember, I was all anxious about not being able to consistently go on the media schedule every single time because, like, I didn't do a Memorial Day thing. And you know something? I don't care because the Memorial Day things, I get so many and I just dump them. So, I'd rather not do something people would dump, which is why I do like doing those jib jabs on the holidays.
I love the jib jabs on holidays. Those are my favorite. Well, and interestingly enough, my team and I were talking about this morning, and I just thanked them so much as we were cultivating our feeds going into May for knowing the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, because my husband works for a large national corporation and they had put a post talking about veterans on Memorial Day, which isn't appropriate. And he was so disgusted, and they have
the veterans are the guys that lived and are still with us. And Memorial Day is about the guys that the bullets didn't miss.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a flip way. I'm just trying to move through it and it's a nuance.
It is. It's a really important nuance. And
especially for somebody that's a veteran that has people that they know that we honor on Memorial Day.
Exactly. So
your husband's a veteran?
My husband is not, but his father is, and my grandfather. Yeah.
So no Memorial Day on my dad. My dad's a veteran. So let's step away from that a little bit. And, does everybody need a messaging strategy, and who does? And if they do, how do they build one?
So from my perspective, everyone should have a messaging strategy. simply because it keeps you on track if as an individual, and certainly as a company. Every company does need a messaging strategy. And we actually have just a little piece that we walk through. I call it the W's. It's the who, what, when, where, why, how. And the reason that it matters is because, as Simon Sinek so eloquently said from the very beginning, right? Start with why. Why are we doing this? So if we don't start with some of those basic questions, and I feel like all of these W's lead into the why. And I look at them from a business standpoint, again, because we work mostly in the B2B sector, and we're not trying to attract consumers, but we're trying to build relationships within businesses. So we start with like, who should be hearing from you? Like, are people taking inventory of who their followership is on social media? Are they discovering who their followership should be? It's not actually always the same people. Often we are.
Yes. And I don't accept everybody who wants to link in either. A lot of them are just looking to pirate my people. A lot of people I click, I don't, know, and I don't know this person. Back at you for spamming me.
Yeah.
And I know people that go through and clean out their different stuff and get rid of them. Some people will only have people on LinkedIn that they've actually met. How many times has somebody called you and said, do you know so-and-so? And you go, no. And you go, well, they're a friend of yours on Facebook or LinkedIn. And you go, oh my God. And you got to go get rid of that. And unless you don't, but I'm not really about watering the lawn and talking to the universe anymore. I'm really only about my 5,000 people.
Correct. The quality of your followership.
And what I kind of on LinkedIn, I think I have it set so that people can't see who I know. I think that I have that set. If I don't, it's a mistake because I tried to set that.
There are fantastic privacy settings. And you'll see that, for instance, if you were to go to LinkedIn and try to pull contact information, even from your followership, you might discover there's only a couple of hundred that allow because you have to go in intently to allow your email address to be downloaded or to be grabbed by your contacts. And I love that LinkedIn values privacy enough that they make it default to not allow that.
Yeah, I try to not allow people to be able to do that. But then I find it ridiculous when people say, here's my cell phone and what's your cell phone and email address? And then it's available when you click contact. It makes me almost think that they're dumb. Certainly not efficient or knowledgeable about Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. And by the way, I don't do really Facebook anymore. I really don't do Twitter anymore. I never really did Instagram. I think that maybe there would be business there, but there's only so much I can do with a level of quality that I want to do it.
Right.
And I think that it's just, you got to pick your battles. And, I can't do it everywhere. I did it when it was COVID and there was nothing going on, but now I don't even have time to do call it what it is, SEO for my posts on LinkedIn. So it's very difficult to do.
It's appropriate
be consistent.
to choose, right? It's appropriate to choose. So choosing a platform where your audience is, where you want to be, and where you are already on there on a regular basis is a very appropriate choice. Not everybody has to be experts in it all. That's the reality of it. And different people naturally gravitate towards different platforms. So you don't have to force it. You really don't.
Let's take a little quick break. Then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the 4 W's and why that's important and what they really are again. This is where I thank my friends at Warren Henry and where Mr. Mendoza gets to show his editing skills. So go to it, Mr. Mendoza. Some of that just is so cool. I want you to get one with the moon rising. The big full moon is coming up. Let's do one of those with the moon rising, Mr. Mendoza. Show me your marketing chops on that. I want to thank our friends for well over a decade for sponsoring the podcast, our friends at Warren Henry. Thank you to, of course, Warren, Larry, Eric, Gizmit, Maytal, everybody. Gosh, I'm trying. Jack's the best one. He's the one that does the numbers. Gio, who helps me figure out which car I want to get. Thanks to all of them for making me a member of the Warren Henry family for, gosh, like well over 20 something years, 30 probably, if I really stop to think about it. They've been sponsors of the show for well over a decade. I love seeing them out in the community at the events. They really do care so much about our community. They also care about the people that they work with as buyers and leaseholders of their cars. So if you're looking to buy or lease a car, we know that you want to get every advantage that you can. I know I do. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Lincoln up at 151st and Biscayne. Gainesville, they've got that gorgeous Audi store. Sent one of my friends up there the other day. And in the Keys, they've got all their great nameplates down at the Keys, which means they can get you pretty much any car you ever wanted or could think of. What do all these cars have in common? Well, they're obviously all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means you get a long list of services that they provide. Of course, you get complimentary service loaner if you've got to leave your car. Just make sure you call and reserve it and you get your appointment set. They will, polish up your rims. That's my favorite because I always scrape them up because I'm a close parker on the parking spaces. I lose my keys all the time. These guys and gals help me get my keys back, replace my keys. Those are expensive, those keys. They'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your trade-in. They'll guarantee you're getting the best value and price on your new car, your lease car. They'll give you 3 days to make sure that's true and that you like your car, or you can turn it back. No one ever does because they love those cars. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends and clients. I was just in one of the fancy Range Rovers that one of my clients bought from Warren Henry just last weekend. So always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. That's a wild ad. I even know which building that's from, which means I need a life because I know what each one of the buildings looks like in town. Hey, everybody, reach out to me. I'd like to say I'm the Warren Henry of real estate. I've never said that before. That's a pretty good one. Because I'm always about everybody else too. That's why we co-brand together. I represent the same value system. This is for Rebekah. We have value system alignment because we represent and think about people in the same way. Whenever you call me, it's always all about you. I work with lots of big families and big investors just like they do. I do business all over the state just like they do. Gosh, I've never even thought about it this way before. But what you're seeing is in real time, the way I go through things and think about them. Reach out to me. I'm working with international investors from obviously by definition, from all over the world: Argentina, Brazil, New Zealand, Australia, Europe, Canada. I had to point to the Great White North up there. All of them, local families, high net worth families. I was with 3 different billionaires yesterday. I'm not dropping names, just dropping concepts. Went to the ball game with one. Was looking at property with 2 others in downtown Miami. And so really, I help the families look at each other in a new way, how they can work together. It's really tremendous to see them kind of fit and blend, and multi-generational also, which is interesting to see how the generations interface. I'm helping some of them build funds. I'm helping others build projects. What I am doing in each case is helping each of them feel better about themselves, because I've seen problems and issues that they've had that they'd like to deal with, and I help them solve those problems in a positive, professional way. I do that. That's my brand. My brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by helping them solve problems, and that helps them have peace of mind. And my catch line with all that is always the same. So if you need me, DM me, text me, and reach out to me, because whenever you do, you'll learn one thing. And that's that whenever you reach out to me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freedom Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freedom Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Right, we're on with Rebekah Carlson. Rebekah's worked for some of the biggest real estate firms in the marketing department, and now is on her own. Has been so for, gosh, I got to believe like a decade. We've been working with Rebekah for at least 5, 6, 7 years. She's tremendous. Mr. Mendoza, where is Rebekah? And her smile, there she is. The woman's electric. Hey, Rebekah. And I'll out you too. The woman, Rebekah Carlson, also teaches Sunday school to 3-year-olds, so she's got patience like a saint. So now, I think it's very important to have a consistent marketing strategy. I've been doing basically that same Warren Henry ad, my little personalizing touches each time for 10 years, 12 years, 13 years. I don't even know anymore. So, but their message is the same. It's consistent. It ties in with all the rest of their stuff. They work with me, which I epitomize that brand. So, Rebekah, how does somebody decide how they're going to develop a messaging strategy, and what are some of the things that they need to consider? You talked about 4 W's.
So we started a little bit with who should be hearing from you, because auditing your followership and your relationships is a really good place to start. From there, what should they be seeing about you and from you? That's where your value system alignment comes into play a lot, Jim, I think, in that not only is what's said by you, but things that are said about you are correlative. There's that authenticity piece. Warren Henry utilizes your outstanding position as their brand ambassador, and you represent it well and have done so for a very long time. That's a piece of what people can and should be seeing about you and from you on a regular basis. So drilling down into like what you want people to be saying and seeing, there's a reality here. We have some control over that. We are
There's opportunities all the time to pollute your personal brand. And again, I'll go back to, I really want to be consistent and perfect, and it's virtually impossible by human nature. I guess that I should investigate using AI, but then I would just fly. So I'm learning all the time. I'm experimenting all the time. It's interesting to see what the most attracted things are. My world beater YouTube thing was it's 1,100 people that I did it at Supercar Saturday like 2 weeks ago, and all I did was say, "Hey, check this out! I'm in front of my new car." It really wasn't my new car, and but it was tremendous. They said, "Oh, it's not really my new car. It's what I really want to get." And it was this like blue Lamborghini, and that just went nuts. And I mean, it did it like overnight when I wasn't paying attention or doing anything. So it really resonated, obviously, with a lot of people. And so I try to be consistent. I try to put that good energy out there. So I think I do that one. What's next?
So the next piece is, when are they looking in the sales cycle? And this is really written for this question really comes into play when you're looking for business and when you're utilizing your network and social media and all of your marketing toolbox to build business. When are they looking in the sales cycle? What is going to be that catalytic time? So I know that often for us, for helping clients with social media, they come to us because they're like, I was just so tired of figuring out what I had to post every day. And the reality is that I can echo those sentiments, that my team took my social media feed away from me because I was just this abject disaster for the company's social media feed specifically, because I would wake up, oh, I need to post something. And then I'd be like, writer's block. What should I post today? And then it would be like, oh, but I don't like that graphic. Oh, I've got to move this around. And then it would be like, oh, the phone rings. Oh, squirrel, something to distract you. And so the posts don't go. There's no consistency to it. There's no method to it. There's no routine, because it's a pain point. And it's a pain point for a lot of us who run businesses and run companies, in that is a catalyst for when somebody's looking to have somebody help, right? That's when we can be like, yeah, we'd love to help you.
Sure. And the issue is that you have to be consistent with the voice. And I know that your team has been very good at working with me. And I work with them so they can take a shot and then I help polish it up and make it my voice. But I still do a lot of the posting is usually originally mine. It's never perfect, but it is mine. And people know that. And I have fans. And this is a perfect example. I was at the IMN conference last week. I was walking around the trade show floor. A lot of the stuff really didn't apply to anything I was working on. Most of it was service providers for home builders, people that provided capital for transactions I typically wouldn't be seeing. I got to the end of the aisle. I saw this guy. He had a bunch of liquor bottles on his thing. He had gotten a tequila thing made up for the thing. Not really a tequila drinker, but I hadn't seen that in a long time. The bottles were beautiful. So I was looking at them, and the guy that had them looked at me. He saw my name tag and he said, "Jim Freed, the famous Jim Freed. How do I work with you to co-brand and get involved and do real estate deals and get on your show?" And I said, "Well, let's talk about that." And I mean, right out of the blue. And this is a guy, he's from California. He just moved here. He told me about some deals that he was working on that I didn't know about, that I called on and talked to some people about. I'm going to help him with his branding. He wants to come on the show, wants to learn the podcasting thing by being on the show. And he's very interested in my digital technology for real estate tokenization also. So it was really, it was like a home run. And I wasn't sure I wanted to go to the conference. I registered on site, paid him the extra money. It was okay. I'm walking around. The food was terrific. And I'm going to myself, but I'm not really meeting anybody. And what happened is I was really just open for business. And I went there. I was open for business. I project the same message all the time. Yeah. And the person who I had no idea, did not meet, don't even know how he found the podcast, told me that he had looked up a number of the podcasts and really wanted to meet me because all of those were consistent with his value system. In other words, Rebekah, we had
value system alignment. Yes.
There you go. So give me another W.
So where are you looking? I love that question because it very much correlates with your story that you just shared, right? People are looking for your help in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different places. So are you meeting them in those ways and places? You are, right? What 90% of it showing up is, I feel like I've read that.
You got to be there to play the ball. You got to play the game to win. Oh, I've never heard. That was good.
That is good. That's it. Write that one down, Jim.
I am.
Got to play the game to win. So the fact that you went to the IMN conference, even though you didn't feel like it, and I'm not surprised that you met somebody who had name recognition and had actually looked at your show and your podcast, because you've done an incredible job.
The funny part is that's not even where it all started. I walked up and I don't even say my name, and I know who it is, but I don't want to say who it is. My friend came up to me, one of my guys that I talked to, and he goes, "Here's Jim Freed. How come he's not inside already?" And they all laughed. They go, "We know Jim. Here's your name tag, Jim. We know you." So I go inside. I don't even get through the front door. And there's a young person that comes up to me and goes, "Mr. Freed." Already I'm in trouble, right? "Mr. Freed, can I speak to you?" I go, "Sure." It's one of the young kids from the UF.
Oh, yay.
Now it gets better. It gets better. We go in the first booth, which is a group that's making a loan to somebody I know who I wanted to meet. Who's the handshaker? Another guy from UF. Oh yeah, I posted about that on Friday. That was my Flashback Friday. So 2 young people that I knew from UF, a person that I knew who wasn't so young from the front, and then that was the front. And then I walk all the way to the back, to the farthest corner. Basically I took my plate there from the breakfast thing so I could sit down for 30 seconds and have something to eat. And that's when the guy goes, "I know you," and goes right down the list about he watches the podcast, loves my stuff, wants to get together, wants to work on the digital stuff, wants to invest in some of my deals. Turns out he needs a big chunk of industrial space, which I'm working on an industrial development deal that's spec that he can be the investor in, he can be the tenant in. I mean, bang. And
Shut
that was from, 15 years of podcasting. My wife told me it wouldn't even have an effect or impact for 10 years. She was right.
Vivian's
At
brilliant.
this level, now it's different. So that's a bunch of W's. What's next on the agenda? We got any W's left, or are we going on?
We
to
actually
the next
do, because it's a 6W system.
It's a lot of W's. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
I know,
whoa,
so many W's, but we have a strategy that comes out of it.
Give me some more.
So why are they working with you? Right? What are your intangibles and your tangibles? What are you providing? Because those dig into your strategy, because you are already bringing your authentic you. But there's a reality that a lot of us in business are a little more shy about our authentic yous, and they need to be a little bit more transparent with
That's
who
what
they
dynamite is for. So the answer is, this is the Bruce Turkel answer. Everybody they're talking to is qualified. High five to Bruce Turkel for this concept. The person that they do business with is the person that they like. So I'll go back to it. So the people I was with yesterday, the 3 billionaires in different meetings, and I'm not the 3 high net worth investors. Okay. One I've known for 25, 30 years. When I needed that person, they were there for me. We'll just say it like that. The second group I've known since high school. My wife knows their family from the community, and the father, my wife's mother knew the father back in Cuba. Just walks on water and is so, they use the word fino, which is refined, and you could feel what fino means, right? His son, now the patriarch of the family, is amazing. And my biggest struggle is not treating him like my friend from high school, but like the patriarch of this massive family, which I'll bet he prefers when I treat him like my high school friend and the patriarch, but my wife would have a heart attack. And I did tell him yesterday how proud I am of the way that he's run this and helped build this beautiful family, because it's all these different young people that he's got working in his one office that he custom generated. It's spectacular. And he treats them with respect, and they revere him. He's earned it. And that was, and then the third family, Sycon, came to me for advice on when he found out he had kidney disease. So we went, he and I become friends. We went to a sporting event last night, and we just talked about things. And he's got the most amazing things he's working on that I couldn't even conceive of. And he asked me questions about which one was better and which one wasn't. And I kind of went into it, and we agreed on everything. He said, yeah, that's the way I look at it too, after I gave him like a half hour on everything. So, and the kidney thing just echoes, because almost every event, when I go to them and I wear the mask, which I yesterday went to the ball game for the first time without a mask. But when I go to these events and I'm wearing a mask, the person, inevitably somebody comes up to me and talks to me about the kidney disease in their family. By the way, the guy with Mr. I heard your podcast, guess what? Kidney thing back there somewhere. So it's been projecting all of that, projecting my story, reaching out to them. Do we have any W's left?
The last one is pretty easy. It's how can you improve, right?
How's that a W?
How ends with a W.
Maybe, well, let's improve. Hold on a second. Let's sell some cars, then we'll come back with how, which is really not a W, it's an H, but we'll give you the W because we're doing it in a non-linear fashion. Mendoza, let's go for a non-linear tour of Miami. I love those time-lapse videos. They're so tremendous. I also love Rebekah Carlson and her laughs and her positive energy. I've missed talking to her. We're going to get her back on the show more often. Hope I didn't freak out by moving the screen a little bit like that. Somebody else who I love and respect is Larry Zinn. I've known Larry for a long time. I don't even remember how long. I first met Larry when he was the F&I guy at the Warren Henry Infinity store. He wrote up all my paperwork. Remember, that's what the F&I guy does. he told me his stories about washing cars in college up in Boston and how he, grew up in the business but wasn't sure it was for him. Let me tell you now, we know it's for him. The kid's a genius. He's teamed up with my good friend Eric Day, who's a visionary and a wonderful businessman. They all work with Larry's father, Warren, who is one of the kindest, most wonderful people I've ever met. Stood behind Vivian and I during the kidney transplant. They all did. My friend Robert Zinn, who I know from high school, so I've known the Zinn family since I was a long time. And my wife bought her first car from Warren Henry. It was a Volvo. They don't even sell Volvos anymore. So long ago. But so Warren Henry, we love them. We love being part of the Warren Henry family. We love the people there. We love the fact that they have a store everywhere that you can get to. Gainesville's Audi's, North Miami is Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Ford. Down in the Keys, all the great nameplates. So if you want a car, it doesn't matter which car, they can help you. They can get you in it. You still get the whole Warren Henry advantage because they're all great cars. And of course, they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. A long list of services that you get: the key replacement, the polishing up the rims, the guarantee that you're going to get a great value on your trade-in, the best price on your new car, best price on your used car, the 72-hour exchange. If you don't like your car, you turn it back. My friends just love it there. I had a friend just bought one of the top-end Range Rovers from them. I got my mom the baseline Infiniti, and they have everything in between to solve whatever your transportation needs are. They help you have peace of mind by giving you great transportation and great follow-up. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends and clients, more all the time. Every week somebody calls me and goes over there and drops my name. It's so wonderful. They say, hey to Gio, the guy at Infiniti, Jack, the F&I guy. I love it. Well, join us all. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. All right, everybody. Like I said in the earlier segment, you got to play to win. So here we go. We're playing. Call me. Play real estate with me. Play technology with me. I'm founding a fintech company right now. We're going to bring tokenization to the marketplace. I have clients from all over the world. We're helping them monetize their real estate and their other investments. If you want to learn more about the future of real estate, reach out and DM me. I'm also doing regular transactions too. I'm doing high leverage construction loans for apartment buildings. I'm bringing equity to the table for acquisitions of industrial, also bringing debt. Let's see, what else am I doing? Helping a condo association get refinanced. I'm helping somebody else just cash out some money on their small commercial condo transactions. And I'm helping a friend of mine that does build and sell build to rent. He actually sells them to a big pension fund. What do all these things have in common? Well, they're all ways I'm helping solve problems for high net worth investors, real estate operating companies. People from all over the world reach out to me and call me to meet each. Sometimes they know each other. I introduce them in special and different ways. So be creative. That's the key. Call me, reach out to me, be positive. I'm always here working to be positive. My personal brand is I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by helping them identify and then solving the problems and then bringing them peace of mind. And remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
It's actually fascinating what Rebekah and I are talking about just happened. Bring her back up. You're going to love this. So we're talking and we're doing this, and I want to say hey to my good friend MF, who's watching, who I'm doing a loan for right now, who never comments on anything that I ever post, and who just liked the fact that we're live.
Yay!
And I didn't even talk to him today. I texted him. We're doing something with Ed, so I texted him and Ed. And Ed responded. First I made sure I knew what Ed was going to respond and that it would be good. And then I texted Ed, "Hey Ed, what's going on?" He said, "Blah, blah, blah. Tell your friend, blah, blah, blah." My friend gave the thumbs up. So it's really a wonderful thing. And what's even more wonderful is my friend gets to turn me off if I start to aggravate him. Probably the best part of watching me on TV is to turn me off when I start to aggravate you. But I'm just kidding. He's probably blushing and going, "My God, Jim's talking about me," but I'm doing it without anybody knowing who you are. So thank you for the like. And I want you to know how much it really meant to me. So this is really a thank you to my good friend for doing that. And this is the way I tell him how much he means to me. But how about that, Rebekah? So how? Tell me how, with the W on the end. It's like an inverted W. It's like sort of an
How can you improve is a good positioning piece. Even the question itself positions it that we're looking at improvement. You're not doing a bunch of stuff wrong. Nobody's yelling, saying, there's no magic bullet here. It's about improvement. It's about evolving and growing. And when I think about ways to improve, I actually think of them in the social media world, right? Consistency might be your challenge. Messaging may be your challenge. People may not know that you have a new business venture because you haven't been vocal about it, and people cannot do business with you if they don't know what you do at all. But then when I think about that in person, I was at a conference last week. A number of people went to social events and had forgotten business cards. All right. So now you get a little checklist before an event. Remind yourself to put cards in your pocket, right? There are little things that we can do that make a huge difference. Make a little note after an event to write your notes on the business cards, or voice to text them into your phone. There's a way to make sure that you're engaging in follow-up. These are all little improvement steps. In person, we have great opportunities for improvement just as much as we do in social. And it's all part of that messaging strategy and that consistency in marketing.
The person that forgets their cards, and we've met that person 1,000 times at an event, they always go, "I forgot my cards." I go, "Never do that again." I go, "Hey," and this hasn't happened to me yet, but you got to go, "Hey, I forgot my cards. Give me your card, and it'll be a test. If I don't respond with my contact information by tomorrow, don't accept. I don't deserve it." And then you're holding on. Every Saturday after an event, I go through the whole stack. I have ways I talk about events. Is it a 1-clip event, a 2-clip event? By the way, this is how I build my marketing list. It's an automatic opt-in. And by that Saturday, and man, I hate it. It bothers me. I don't want to spend an hour and a half because it really turns into 3 because I get ideas and I got to follow up and all this. Oh, it kills me, but I do it. It's like discipline. So we talked about blocking and tackling. We'll talk about for a second because I love them. I don't have any of my tchotchkes here. The Miami Heat, it's the same thing. They'll, the world will tell you they stunk all year, that they should have never gotten anywhere, but they'll tell you all they were doing was learning and growing. And when it came time, boy, are they showing it now. So, it's really not about the outside perception sometimes. Sometimes it has to start inside. You're not going to necessarily get the positive feedback or any of that stuff, but it took me 15 years of podcasting and 30 years of personal friendship to get the person to like my post and to watch me. And I guarantee you that if they're watching me, they already called in their team to say, "Look, he's talking about me right now, but he's not mentioning me." So it's cool.
Absolutely. And right, we just want to improve. We just want to get better and better and better. And that's what you'll do if you look at it as a process and a continuum rather than I'm doing this wrong, I need to do this right. It's defeating to look at it in that perspective.
You can be your worst enemy.
For sure.
But and I must admit, I'm working from the home office, and today, it's where the studio is. And before the show, I just asked my wife if she would hug me. "Would you please, honey, just hug me?" So that's the energy that I'm bringing, is love and kindness. Yeah. And I needed it. So let's talk about, we've done this thing. We've made a plan. The people are out there. We'll make believe that we're going to call them their audience, because even if we only have 3 followers, that's a 3-follower audience plus all the indiscriminate people you meet. Tell me about the different types of audiences there are.
So we all have primary audiences, and I would suggest that a primary audience is someone who you can do business with, direct business. So those are people that we have to reach. We have to talk to people that want to do business and are in ancillary industries that can do business with us. Our secondary audience, though, are those referral sources. Those are people who drive business to you. They can't work with you. There's nothing in their line of work that really is correlative with what you're doing, but they actually like you and want to send business to you. Those are really crucial audiences. And then when we talk about tertiary audiences, they may not fit into that primary or secondary, but they're still a part of your world and they still matter. And I think of that like it can be your internal team, right? Your internal team is not going to drive business to you, and they may not be referrals because they're on the same team as you, but so help you. They are an important piece of your audience. So you don't want to neglect them, but certainly utilizing social media, utilizing all of your marketing strategies as tools to build business needs to have a correlative outcome of making business.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, okay? So I mentor a lot of people. Sometimes that can just be a phone call or a lunch or a positive energy or tagging them or sending stuff to them, whatever. I got a request about a week ago for a kind of loan that I don't do or don't see very often. Came from the mentee, referred this group to me. Person didn't know what to do because they're starting out their home acquisition for investment business entirely incorrectly. Financing it all off their personal financial statement as an individual. Oh my God. Well, you know, we've got that person straightened out and we've got them with Ed now, and Ed's doing like a programmatic thing for them. So it was all because I was nice to somebody coming out of COVID, somebody that I knew 10 years ago when they were a student, met them on our first meeting, his and mine off of COVID. I'm sitting there like this, with I thought I'd have to have myself wrapped in cellophane. I survived that lunch. And, you know, and now kindness and positive energy and watching all my stuff and knowing what I do because of all my stuff. And they sent it to me because I do a whole lot of different stuff. By the way, high five to my friend. Oh, I'm going to do it just for Adam. You know, he's the kid that went to UM that was in the back the other day. So one of my things. So high five to Adam. He tells us on social that he loves the podcast. We're telling him on the podcast, we love you. I'm not going to mention it. I'm just doing it. Look, I'm actually framing my face. Then I have to do this. Sorry. Where is it? There it is. I got to go like that. Everybody gets equal time. I don't know too many of these. But hey to my friends that do that. And I don't know what they do at the other schools, but that's enough for now. So so we've got all this. We've done all that you just suggested. We have these different audiences. You know, we're kind of wrapping up now. What should people have as their goals, Rebekah?
So there are a lot of different goals a business or an individual can have. One is, of course, exposure. And I would argue that the most important goal that you can have is that people will know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
No, not like that. Like, Jim, you do mortgages.
Oh, no, I solve problems for people.
Yes, you solve problems for people.
I do that with different creative financial solutions at many levels, but I don't just do mortgages.
Correct.
I make life better for people. Oh, I love it.
Correct. But not a lot of people are going on and saying, I'm looking for someone to make my life better. Where shall I find this nice person to make my life better?
I solve problems.
Okay, great. I need to hire somebody to be an account manager. Can you solve my problem?
No. I help, but the answer is I know who to refer you to help you solve that problem. I know you do. So I kind of hockey stick that one. But the answer is yes. I do that with the real estate thing. It's my whole ad that I do during the show. But
you clarify it within your actual message. Your goal
I
is
think
that
people kind of know what I do.
And then you break that down into the actual message very specifically and very succinctly. So that
it's hard too, because I do these fancy, big, complex commercial real estate loans. And the person that I'm doing my current deal right now is doing a $500,000 HELOC. But believe me, that person called me hair on fire. And I've done bigger deals for that person. And I have other people that do massive deals where I've done these residential. It's if somebody calls me, I'll do it. It's I don't want to say an accommodation because that would be belittling it and that would make it a little bit less focused, but it is focused. And I know exactly who to call for pretty much just about anything.
Well, and I think one of your other messages is call me, right? Let's have a conversation about how we can help. You have a call to action as one of your main messaging points. So your goal is to get that conversation so you even can pull in all of your incredible resources, your incredible experience to be able to help them.
Well, you have incredible resources and incredible stuff that you do. You've helped my clients from across the globe. You've helped my clients from New Zealand all the way to the United States. You bring that great smile and great energy. Why don't you? I said too many times. I don't really say a lot either. Did you ever notice that? I don't do the thing.
Well spoken.
Thank you. So, Rebekah, we're wrapping up here. What's the message that you'd like to leave everybody? What's the tagline besides call Carlson Integrated because we're great? And you could give us the website and everything too. Mendoza, put up our website. I know you got it lurking there somewhere. There it is.
I think my biggest message is you can do this. Like a messaging strategy isn't impossible. It's not, you don't actually have to hire somebody to help you. Like you can do this. Be self-actualized. Have the intentionality to build something that you can move, that can help move your business forward.
Really, everybody tries. Okay. It started out, they needed a business card. Then everybody needed a folder to put their little stuff in. That's what all this really is. Yeah. And if you realize that you can directly contact your most important clients and prospects authentically, legitimately, directly, and creatively, you'll get a response and it'll be a positive one. And then it's always all about them. So I want to thank I almost stepped into the 21st century poop deck there. I want to thank Rebekah Carlson for being on. I want to thank her for backing me up. I want to thank her for helping Mr. Mendoza and I produce a great podcast, for helping us market ourselves, for teaching us how to do it ourselves. You're so tremendous. I want to thank your team. I love your team, even though I'm the biggest pain in the butt that they've ever had to deal with in their lives. I really love them all. They've all taught me something. I really appreciate each and every one of them. So this is, and Rebekah, please stay on in the green room after the show, please. I want to thank everybody for listening today. I want to thank my clients for texting me and emailing me and DMing me through the show. It really makes me feel good and makes me think it helps me know that I'm really reaching them and that I resonate. Remember, we drop a new podcast noon on Wednesdays. Usually it's live. Occasionally it's best of. I think next week we're doing best of because Mr. Mendoza has to be a father and go take his family on vacation somewhere. Maybe we'll pre-tape it. We're not sure yet. That's me being really transparent and authentic. And so I want to thank our sponsors, Warren Henry, for well over a decade, the University of Florida Center for Bergstrom Studies. Since I started in real estate, they helped mint me. I went to this fraternity event the other day where I met a lot of the senior guys, the guys that were brothers when I was there, and they really helped put it in perspective how far I've come. I think that if we all push back and take a look, we'll all realize we've come a real long way, and we all have to love ourselves for being able to have made the journey and made it this far. So tune in next week. We're not sure what the show is going to be, but whatever it is, it'll be tremendous. And remember, thanks to UF, thanks to Warren Henry, and thanks to you, because without the listeners and my viewers and my podcast participants and everybody else, I wouldn't have the podcast. Remember, the person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen, everybody. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Mr. Mendoza, show us your magic touch.